In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make some giant, monstrous mushrooms from scratch. First, you got to get a barbecue skewer and you got to stick it down to a base, and then you got to make some arms. I'm just going to use more barbecue skewer for that. It will work well. We're just going to bend it, but not fully break it. Well, maybe halfway break, maybe 75% break. And then we're going to reinforce that joint with some glue to make sure it's good and strong. And we'll use some accelerant to instantly bond it. And here I'm sticking it onto the main post. This is going to be the body and this is an arm. It doesn't look like it now. It looks like a stick man, but just trust the process, as they say. And once you've got both arms on, you have completed your armature. Now you want to cover that armature in your wonderful foam. This clay will dry fully in a few hours, maybe not as quick as green stuff and milliput, but pretty close. And it actually starts even drying in different behavior pretty much right away. So you do want to work with it rather quickly, and it doesn't take texture amazingly well, but it does take texture. So just press hard with your sculpting tool, whatever kind of silicone one you need. You don't even need to use water. It just works perfectly. I'm using my thumb a little bit. It does kind of stick to your skin, but it also doesn't. It's a very weird material, but it's wonderful and it's rather inexpensive. So I do recommend it as a crafting material, just something to add to your arsenal, because it does have its purposes. And for things like this, it's pretty much perfect. Moving on to the arms, much of the same thing, just getting the right amount of material there to cover over top of the armature and add a little bit of that mushroomy detail that we had on the body. And cutting ahead, just finishing up with the last few details on the arms here, just making sure everything looks cool and mushroomy, making sure the blends are good. As best as we can with this foam stuff, at least. Wonderful. Look at that. Very mushroomy. But he's missing his head. Let's get to that, shall we? So we just flatten out a ball of this foam clay and squish it into a vaguely mushroom shape. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nature rarely is. Just make it look cool, and hopefully it has some interesting textures that just kind of occur naturally as you handle it, because that will help give that cool, neat look as well. And then you might want to use something like I'm using a bead. This one was a little bit too big, but you want to use a bead or some kind of round object to keep the shape. It won't stick. Well, it sort of will stick, but I believe once the foam clay dries, you'll be able to remove the bead relatively easily. I did before with these ones. So don't worry about that, because the weight of this bead will make it top heavy if you include it in the model, so I wouldn't actually add the bead in there. And this is going to be adding the little spot, little like boils or pustules or whatever that I was going to add, little warts on top of the mushroom top here, the head of the mushroom man that we're making here. So you can add as many or as few as you like. It doesn't really matter. Just keep in mind that nature doesn't basically have patterns, so make sure you don't do any patterns. Just add them randomly as best as you can if you're going to add these little. I recommend you do little simple sculpts like this. You want to dress them up, guzzy them up as best as you can whenever you can. And onto the neck of our mushroom man. If you could say that mushroom people have necks, I guess they do. I don't know. This is what this is, at least. A place to add his mushroomy head to the rest of the body once it all cures. It's not going to quite work yet, but in round 2 of sculpting, which we won't see on this video because there's not really much to it. It's just jamming a bit of more foam in between that head and the neck, and it will bond really well. This stuff bonds to itself extremely, extremely well. That's one of its qualities, I find. It bonds to other materials well, but to itself, it bonds best. I find it also takes paint very well. One of the things I do with this is I make sure I always do the black magic craft thing where I do Mod Podge and paint onto it, because that will also help give it a lot more strength. So I recommend that as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Very simple craft. You pretty much just do it to your own taste. If you don't like your mushrooms to have these deep grooves in them, you could do them smooth. I know a lot of people want more smoothie trunks of their mushrooms. That's fine. This stuff just, I wanted to make it a little more interesting than just smooth. I wanted something to dry brush well, and that's why I did them like that. You could also use these as trees. Like that looks almost like tree bark. Again, not perfect for taking texture, but it definitely takes a little bit, and the price is quite right. You get a decent little bag for about $10 Canadian, so yeah. And if you made it this far in this video, I thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you subscribe, give me a like, maybe shoot me a comment, tell me which mushroom combination of colors you like the most, and yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you very much. Take it easy.